Too much football at this time of year? We're not having any of that. It's FA Cup third round weekend and it's in the studio, but I have a Matthew and an Ian. Messrs Upson and Wright are tonight's giants of punditry. Coventry City were FA Cup winners 31 years ago, but a lot has happened since then, both on and off the pitch. And this season they have their sights set on promotion from League Two. Today they entertained Premier League strugglers Stoke City. Watching this one was Mark Scott. Well, it's not going to happen. They are not going to be able to do that very quickly under Mark Hughes because just after 8 o'clock tonight, Stoke announced that they have terminated his contract and they go on to say that they wish him all the best, thank him for his work, and they'll be looking to appoint a new manager as soon as possible. His 200th game in charge it was today for Mark Hughes. For you, I know you feel it's inevitable. Perhaps the only surprising thing is it happened so quickly after the game.
Yeah, I do. You do have to feel for him. I think that after Tony Pulis, Mark Hughes did try to change things up when he brought in Bojan and Afellay and Shaqiri and Arnautovic, and we're talking about players that when it did click for them, after, like I say, after Tony Pulis, they were pretty good to watch. They were very good to watch. But talking about players that weren't consistent enough, coming from clubs like Barcelona and Inter Milan, Bayern Munich. And if you're coming from those clubs don't let players go that consistent. And I think that he put a lot of faith in them lot, and they didn't really do it for him. And in the end, it's just run out of time for him. They seem to be in a rut that they just can't get out of.
Lost 6 of their last 8. But there's no doubt, I mean, Ryan Giggs leads the bookies list of favourites to take over. There is no doubt for any of these people, their names in the frame, it's a very attractive job at a club that generally really backs its manager, and it's a family-run club. It's a rare thing in the Premier League.
For sure. I mean, it's very attractive for a manager because the ownership's so stable and supportive. You know, I think they'll give manager an opportunity. They'll give them the reins to make decisions and to, especially on the playing side of things, I think you get quite a lot of freedom at the club to take the direction that you want to go in, and it's really attractive for a lot of managers, I'm sure.
Yeah. But let's not take anything at all away from Coventry, the way they approached this game, winning this game against Premier League opposition, going through to the 4th round. Congratulations to them, because at 1-1, it wasn't Stoke who were throwing everything at the game. It was Coventry who kept going. They were not playing for the draw.
Absolutely.
Team there at the end of the game. Brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant, weren't they?
There's one instance there where they blocked about 4 shots on the spin. The crowd got involved in it. They deserved it. They deserved it.
OK. Pep Guardiola's Manchester City have been imperious this season, and he'll be keen to add the FA Cup to his impressive trophy haul. They faced Premier League opposition today as high-flying Burnley visited the Etihad. Steve Bauer was watching this one. You get a sense of frustration, certainly coming through from Sean Dyche there, but actually the scoreline perhaps doesn't tell the story that Burnley's tactics, employed at least until 56 minutes, seemed to be doing the job against...
It's a bit rusty there from John Stones because he's been playing well up to that point until he got injured.
Sean Dyche alluded there to the quickly taken free kick for Man City, which ended up being the thing that opened the floodgates. But you thought it was quite cute. You enjoyed that. Yeah,
it was pretty good. And I know he's talking about 5 yards, 10 yards back off a team like that for 90 minutes. But they've done it for 56 and then lapse of concentration and the game is over.
Winning's a habit, huh?
Yeah, it is.
OK, well, 4 other Premier League clubs face potentially tricky ties against lower league opposition. We'll begin our roundup on the Dorset coast. Let's go back to Bournemouth's draw, though, with Wigan flying high, of course, in League One. They made them work really hard today, Bournemouth, and Eddie Howe will be delighted to get the opportunity of a replay.
Absolutely. I mean, to go down like that and then come back. I mean, Bournemouth have made a habit of coming back late in matches over Christmas.
And when you're 16th in the league and you've had a few draws of late and you're not very far away from danger, a good cup run for the fans in particular. You know, I've read quite a lot about this weekend. It's really important, isn't it, for a club when you're not going to be looking at European places or top of the league? Yeah,
I think this is something that Bournemouth should try and have a go at, and I feel they've got the character for it. They keep coming back late in games. That says they've got character, and I genuinely believe that it does give you confidence and momentum for the next game.
Galvanising.
Absolutely.
Plenty more. Well, he hasn't got a huge smile on his face there, but I imagine he will right now, because that was always a potential banana skin for a team that must be low in confidence, having not won since August. He hasn't got a win under his belt until today. Yeah, and I think Paul Tisdale, I think he was right. They either gave him too much respect or I don't know what it was, but I thought that a team that hadn't, like you say, hadn't won since August, 4 goals up to this point under Alan Pardew, I thought they would have, with a pitch that was really, really poor, I thought that they would have put them under a lot more pressure and made West Brom have to play a little bit more, try to play and put them, and just get the ball into the box and cause them problems. They didn't do anything. It was very, very comfortable for them. And unlike what perhaps Mark Hughes did today, he named a full-strength side. He put the full cavalry out there.
He did, and you know, almost anticipating and
they just weren't up to speed.
But Exeter didn't make the full use of that pitch, did they?
Absolutely
it was a bad pitch.
Not.
They should have made more use of it.
Yeah.
And will that give them now, do you think, some confidence to pick up some points?
Well, you hope so. You hope so. I think he's obviously trying something, playing Rondon a little bit deeper off of Jay Rodriguez. And because obviously Pardew is my mate, I just hope that something happens for him soon and get a couple of Premier League wins, and maybe this is a good basis to start on.
OK, thank you very much. League One Fleetwood faced Premier League opposition in today's early game in the form of Leicester City in their first ever competitive meeting. Jonathan Pearce and Kevin Kilbane were at the other high.
Right there as well, mate, waiting for it. I was almost willing Fleetwood to win simply because they rested so many players and I just wanted them to beat them.
It was only Wesley Snipes that didn't get a mention. They've got the replay, and that could be the Vardy match, because Vardy could be back for that. It was built up, and it did feel like it had some romance to it, but it kind of petered out, all of that, when Vardy didn't feature.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was there watching, and it didn't have much about it, the game. I expected the Fleetwood atmosphere and them to be a little bit more on the front foot, being an FA Cup, but it's a tough ask for them at the King Power in a replay for me.
And an interesting start to life, his first start for Adrian Silva as well, for Leicester.
Yeah, but we're talking about somebody who ain't played for like how many months? He'd be desperate even to play in that game.
OK, well done to Yeovil, MK Dons and Peterborough, all causing upsets, but it's Posh who we're going to have another look at. And they were up against an Aston Villa side who were unrecognisable and only assumed that he's just focusing on the league. There was obviously no way he was putting any emphasis on the FA Cup.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at Villa, the promotion and the playoffs for them is a hugely important thing this season. But it just seems a theme that if you're not going to stick and play a full-strength team, the cup ties are very, very difficult. And the results and the teams that have been chosen in this round have shown that.
And you're not going to get away with it against a team like this?
No, absolutely not.
OK, well, Southampton have gone 9 games without a win, and pressure is beginning to build on manager Maurizio Pellegrino. The last thing they needed was a tricky trip to Fulham, currently just outside the Championship playoffs. Another manager in Maurizio Pellegrino who needed confidence, needed something from his team in this. But you were really looking forward to seeing Fulham and their exciting youngsters, Ryan Sessegnon, and many of them getting headlines, haven't they?
And they did play well, and they did have a few chances. A manager who's sought after, so I think his name's mentioned in the Stoke appointment. But yeah, they played pretty well today. But I thought Southampton done really well today, very professional. Come up against a team with pace and skill in it. I thought Boufal was a standout performer for Southampton today. He really did do some nice tricks and play some lovely stuff. I bet they would have been quite entertained by him today. But in the end, Southampton did nick it. It was a nicely worked goal, if I'm going to be totally honest. A little bit of luck in the end, but it was a good goal.
James Ward-Prowse, who came up with the goods in the end.
Chance later on, which hit the bar from a yard out, but in the end, I thought they just shaded it.
Yeah, Southampton were moving through the gears then, weren't they? And did start to look more Premier League-like in their quality. Fulham had a chance, though. Well, it was a fantastic opportunity for Piazza, but he didn't make the most of it, did he?
No. Any kind of contact on the ball at the back post, and it's a goal.
He's on loan from Chelsea. He won't thank us, really, for showing that, I imagine. Wolves are currently running away with the Championship and are dreaming of a return to the top flight for the first time since 2012. They took on Swansea City, who... It was a tale of 2 red cards, this match, wasn't it? Because if you look at the first 40 minutes, it was all about Wolves. They were all over Swansea City. In fact, actually, when you look at them, there's one place between them, the bottom of the Premier League and the top of the Championship, and it was very even, apart from Wolves had more chances.
It showed, and Wolves showed for me their Premier League quality today. You know, they're performing, they're running away with the Championship at the moment, and in this cup tie they proved that they're at that level where they can match a Premier League side, if not get the upper hand on them. You know, the 40 minutes with 11v11 they were on top, and then when it went to 10v10 after the second yellow, they really started to get momentum and opportunities.
Well, we are talking about the bottom team in the Premier League in respect to Swansea.
That's clumsy, but no question it was a red. The second is much more difficult.
For this, no problem.
It's not violent conduct. It's not clear through on goal. It's just a cynical, silly foul in the middle of the park, and to get a red card for that is... You know,
he just upset. He just caught the ref at the wrong time. Ref's upset.
And I guess when you're in Swansea's situation, which is fighting for your life at the bottom of the Premier League, you don't really want the added interruption of more matches, but you do want a good cup run. You
do want a good cup run, and I think that they've, like Matty said, Wolves done really well in that game. They deserve to win it, and it gives Swansea the opportunity to maybe get them back at their place and beat them and try and get themselves going, because they really do need to start getting themselves going.
OK, well, there were 5 League Two clubs looking to upset Championship opposition today, and we begin our roundup with Notts County. A lot of changes, again, the team concentrating on promotion, but, you know, that kind of magic when somebody's had that experience in the Cup with a lower league side, must be muscle memory.
It's romantic.
Well, we were lacking a bit of romance.
Yeah, that's
we?
romance.
Looking for some romance.
John Stead gave us some.
Definitely a bit of individual romance to the cup.
And Clint Hill, here's one for you romantics who like those guys who can last the test of time. 650th match today for Carlisle. Not for Carlisle, but in his career.
Well played.
Outstanding achievement.
Well
Played with that.
I don't know whether he'll still be up. He might be bothering going to bed. Well, a couple of updates from the Merseyside derby. The FA say they are investigating that clash between Mason Holgate and Roberto Firmino. And Liverpool have today announced that finally the sale for Philippe Coutinho to Barcelona has gone through for £142 million. What a piece of business that is. And to resurrect that deal and the way it's been done. I mean, and the player himself as well. The way he's handled himself in the last few months.
Yeah, and I think that's a key point because, you know, he would have had some disappointment if he really wanted to go in the summer. The deal couldn't get done. I thought Liverpool handled it well. But then the player went back to the training and back to performing and hasn't spoken about it, hasn't complained and maintained a high level of performance and then ended up going. I think it's a good example of how to push a deal through or how to conduct yourself when you've got that transfer interest.
I think as well, when you consider how it started off when the bridges that needed to be repaired between Liverpool and Southampton, Mike Gordon's got to take a lot of credit for that because Jurgen Klopp obviously wanted Van Dijk. Van Dijk only wanted to go to Liverpool, and that needed to be done. And when you see Van Dijk score that goal, I can imagine that Mike Gordon must have a nice little smile to himself building those bridges.
He's a Liverpool co-owner who, of course, will have been very much involved in the deal as well with Coutinho. Yeah. That, of course, reaps the money back they've spent on Van Dijk and then some. So are they going to be outspending, do you think, in the rest of the January window? We're hearing Mahrez is being linked as a replacement for Coutinho.
I don't think it would be a bad thing to get someone like Riyad Mahrez. I think he would probably fit in there. I think that Liverpool are better equipped right now with the acquisition of Salah, who's obviously a massive, massive bonus, to deal with the fact that Coutinho is going to go. I think they can deal with that now. It's not like a disaster that he's leaving now.
And they're calling him Lionel Jesse, the Manchester United fans. I mean, he's on scintillating form, isn't he?
Oh, he's in great form and, you know, good news for England going into the summer and players like him performing at that level, scoring goals. You know, he's in the best form he's ever been in and improving every time I see him. So, yeah, really good form for Jesse Lingard.
Good stuff. Well, the FA... this is not going to end there, is it? There's no way that Jose Mourinho is going to let those comments lie. It's a war of words, a bit of handbags, maybe.
It's getting to a point where, you know, it's getting quite nasty in respect of Mourinho mentioning, I don't know, Juventus and the scandal stuff, and now he's calling him a little man. You know, I'm sure there's going to be something else, but it's not ideal, is it? I think that it stems from the first time Conte, when Mourinho pulled him up about celebrating, and I think Conte's, you know, I mean, he shouldn't have took it then anyway. There wasn't too much to celebrate about that match, was there? It's fair to say it won't go down in the annals as one of the classic FA Cup third-round ties. But well done, Norwich, for holding Chelsea.
Absolutely. I don't think Chelsea made it difficult enough for Norwich. They were quite comfortable in the defence and... Pressure on Morata, but it just does not look like it's happening for him. From a defensive point of view, I mean, the difference there, as a defender, you're happy all day for him to come short and come short. The moment somebody starts running you in behind, like Morata did, it just challenges you and asks a question, and it was too comfortable for Norwich. And to be honest, even when he did go short, he was losing the ball. He's in a real bad place in respect of confidence.
John Watson, Deleth Lloyd and Damien Johnson across all the action for us today. Let's have a quick look at tomorrow's papers then. And the £142 million heist is the headline from the Sunday Times, referring, of course, to Philippe Coutinho's move from Liverpool to Barcelona. The Sunday Express leads on the departure of Mark Hughes from Stoke City. And the Telegraph suggesting that Martin O'Neill and Gary Rowett are in the frame to take over from Mark Hughes. That's just about it from all of us. My thanks to Ian.